Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is the World Knowledge Forum, and I believe we are here to be inspired. So, the first art and culture section, and this is Jason Kim from London. Nice to meeting you. As you might notice that 매일경제, Daily Economics has been writing the successful history, like with us coexisting with us, that is the keyword, in World Knowledge Forum. And now this is the very first time we are talking about art and culture section. But before that, there is an intriguing question that can art truly be considered as knowledge, you guys believe, or not? But before, what is the knowledge? This is quite important question, should not be dismissed, I believe. So knowledge typically derived from empirical and universally applicable insights and information gained through observation and research, Wikipedia says, not me. So in traditional sense, might not be. But we also have to know that human has a tendency that we always divide the universe and world by two. Let's say black and white, man and woman, good or bad, evil or angel, heaven and hell. But real life has a full of the texture, I believe, which make life worth living. So, like through the kind of the art, maybe it will maybe work as a profound window to see and taste more about the texture, again, which life worth living. So art has been riding the waves of global trend, especially in Korea. Established art fairs and galleries, now we can see around the corner each time. And understanding art is a profound window, like I said, to see the perspective of era which reflects deep understanding of spirits and philosophy, empathy, trend, and desire. Is all based on the human's desire, like always. And a knowledge always embrace a chaos of creativity. So now I think we are talking about the future knowledge or knowledging. So to defining the art, especially the digital sector, is almost impossible, unreachable dream, I think, because it's just evolving and it's keep changing, shifting over. So only thing we can do is to learn and sharing insights from the best of the world. So please welcome the Elizabeth Galton. Especially without her name, we can't speak the luxury. She is the 50th influential player in the industry globally, and also fellow of RCA, which symbolizes Royal College of Art. We can't also speak any kind of design history without Royal College of Art. And then also the best business school, the Henry Business School's fellow also. And another guest, another presenter is, actually many people is asking me, like, what is the future? Is the cryptocurrency will replace my bank? Or digital art is worth invested? And actually, she has all the answer. Not answer, she is creating the answer in the top of the industry. So please welcome Greta. It's a Web3 digital art head curator based on France. And me, I'm the only guy. I'm really honored to be in that position. And I'm digital brand director. And one of my good memory is like from 2021, before that time, digital art was not seriously considered as a form of like traditional sector, in a traditional sector. But with Damien Hirst, we created the first. We just like established the first digital sector at Frieze Art Fair. So before we just go through all the things, I just wanted to talk briefly about some history of the art. For better understanding of the history of art, I'd like to briefly explore across the universe with just one single word called curiosity fiction. It will be our stepping stone to the next slide. And first of all, I will not gonna deliver any kind of information. This is the medieval. Do you guys feel anything through this painting? Without answer, no answer can be the best answer, because you should not feel like something. Because at the time, art, at the God's authority, the power of the God was so severe and strong enough to overwhelming the human's emotion. So this situation is generally really serious. And physically, we cannot say this is happy situation at all. But like you see, we can see what's happening in there, what happened there vividly, but even though human's emotion is quite overshadowed. I'll just briefly talk, and then after, the spring arrivals, in other words, is the Renaissance started. So, now you can see slightly more about the emotions. Can fear, anger, pain, sorrow is quite vividly delivered through over the centuries. Not only actually in the visual art sector, also the music is changed from monophonic to polyphonic music, and also about the architectural sense also. But we just briefly just switch over. One of our best century era, the Romanticism and Impressionism. Yeah, from this time, the humanity, the artist, delivering something rather describing something in representative sense. So, in romantically speaking, to put this in terms of writing, the artists start to writing like a poetic language. Like I said before, I can describe Grida's eyes are really dark and sepia color, and then the nose are that proportion, so she's really pretty and beautiful, I believe, before we saying that. But now, poetically, we are saying that, wow, your eyes are like so deep, like a river, some kind of. I never say that, so it's awkward. But so humans got a special power to laboring through the brushstroke, even though we are keep using the traditional canvases and the brushes. Now we just deliver through the brushstroke that kind of sense of and the figments of the emotions. So I think it's a new chapter of visual sensitivity just happened. But despite of this abstract approach, viewers often felt a deeper connection than before. So in here, once limited to traditional painting of cathedral, art now finds its place in everywhere. Now canvas changes. You guys probably noticed, where was the original canvas? It was the street, normal street, not kind of Cheongdam Street or somewhere. So, and also the paint and figments is quite changed a lot. Before it was traditional canvases, of course, brushes, pigments, color, but now it's a spray can. It's quite changed. Not only that someone who invented also with me the Frieze art where digital sector is cutting the shark, the medium is expanded a lot. But also the story inside has been changed. It looked like a Jesus, right? But it's story of me and you guys. And I'm also actually in real life making the same mistake over and over. So my family crucified me in my home, which has to be secure and safe. So that is actually the message changed, the canvas changed, and the viewpoint is quite changed from point of God's perspective to human. So if I just sum up with 3 keywords, it can say everyone, everywhere, and every day, I can say. Of course, that kind of developments goes to potent investment because it's more accessible and convenient to own and share. But from this time, how to understanding about the art investment and market, Bianca will gonna deliver your special messages. But unfortunately, her personal emergency, she couldn't be together this time. So Elizabeth Galton will gonna deliver her voice as vivid as much as possible with me. So please welcome Elizabeth.
Good afternoon. I'm delighted to be in Seoul and to be joining you today at the World Knowledge Forum. And on behalf of Bianca, I hope to be able to convey her key messages. As a professor of the Royal College of Art's Innovation RCA Incubator for Entrepreneurship and Business, we promote digital art through their programs and advise brands and companies on marketing and sector trends. Innovation RCA also supports digital art startups, fostering collaborations with new and emerging digital artists in global industries such as yourselves. We provide funding and investment opportunities via our global network of investors, enabling new artists to bring their markets, their artworks to market. And we play a pivotal role in fostering the growth of digital art globally. So I hope to be in a position to contribute to this conversation today. In terms of the key headlines that Bianca feels are important to share with you, the art market shrank by 4% in 2023, reaching an estimated value of $65 billion. But despite this, sales increased mainly at those lower price levels, and digital innovations and increased participation from galleries, auction houses, dealers and collectors indicate the growing significance of digital art. The US continues to lead in the market, accounting for 40% of sales by revenue. And the US and the UK did experience slowing sales, which impeded overall growth. Operating costs for dealers were also an issue over the period, and both public auction and dealers' sales declined, and you can see some of those percentages here. Top international auction houses, though, recorded total annual revenues of just under $16.5 billion across all segments of their business in 2023. So in terms of a regional breakdown, dealers are reporting aged-out collectors and changes in interest having led to business closures. The US and the European market were also fundamentally saturated and are lacking next-generation collectors. So really, the expansion of geographical reach is crucial to attracting new buyers. However, in 2023, the Chinese market surpassed the UK and has actually become the second largest globally. But with high inflation, obviously, the economic volatility in the Middle East and Ukraine have all affected the art market, as you know. The emergence of new millennial and Gen Z collectors across a number of sectors, such as film, media, finance, and technology, have boosted the market. And these new collectors are focused on modern contemporary art and historical treasures. So really, the future of the art market is driven by this younger generation, their passions and their aspirations, embracing diversity and inclusivity. To give you a sense of the luxury and collectible overview in 2023, post-war and contemporary art dominated the fine auction market, accounting for 53% of global sales and 55% by volume. Personal luxury goods rose by 4%, reaching a total of $392 million. And as we know, it's distinguished from other luxury goods in that it is unique in its scarcity. And major auction houses such as Christie's and Sotheby's have reported significant luxury sales, with Christie's reporting the highest number in 2023. In terms of art and finance and the subject of investment, the leading categories which showed high demand and exemplary returns were post-war and contemporary art, which I imagine will come as no surprise. Art is, of course, seen as a value-preserving asset, less susceptible to those fluctuations in the market. And investment-focused art has been sustained in terms of interest and activity. Despite all the economic headwinds, the art market has shown liquidity and resilience, but this could distort the artistic values and priorities within the art community as we continue to experience the turbulence of Ukraine. Of course, the influx of the capital in the art market can lead to increased volatility, with the prices of artworks rising and falling accordingly. It's also seen a shift in collecting behavior, with collectors possibly divesting from their holdings to free up capital. And lastly, a focus on liquidity might overemphasize short-term gains over the long-term cultural and intrinsic value of art. Just to touch on blockchain, NFTs, and AI, the art market is increasingly reliant on online auctions, and they've represented over 95% of transactions. These platforms have attracted speculative buyers, leading to an increase in sales through to 2021. But of course, NFT sales declined in 2022. And the future applications of blockchain, including asset ownership, splitting using NFTs, has broadened potential investors and reduced costs. It's also enabled the transparency in terms of property titles and transactions. But we really do need a regulatory framework to deal with AI in the context of text and data mining. Overall, fundamental functions that the art market is beginning to adopt for AI are those specialized services like authentication, conservation, and restoration. So all very positive. Before I move on to my slides, Jason and I are going to have a brief conversation about some of the trends that Bianca anticipates in the market as we move into the latter part of 24 and 25. And I hope to be able to bring Bianca's voice to that.
Thank you so much for delivering the voice. And I just wanted to ask, as a representative of the audience, I just picked up some most important questions. So what do you think? What is your market expectation in 2024 to 2025?
I think the majority of high net worth collectors are optimistic about the market as we move into the latter part of 2024. And we've seen that 77% are expressing positivity, and that comes from a UBS art economics survey.
Okay, that is really quite optimistic. So also, that is the biggest keyword. Like the pandemic, during the pandemic and Brexit, there has been a rapid growth in high net worth individuals. Yeah, that is really everywhere I'm listening this kind of words. And regarding that trend, how will the market be affected, you think?
That's absolutely correct, Jason. And in fact, the global population of high net worth individuals has roughly doubled since 2025. And despite all the ups and downs that we're experiencing with the pandemic, with Brexit, the turbulence obviously in Ukraine, we are expecting that segment to continue to grow.
Mm-hmm. So like, not only that pandemic and Brexit is kind of the atmosphere, but also Gen Z, is also a hot topic. Gen Z is one of the most important keywords and key factor actually in the market. What is their interest in the market? I just wanted to share your insights.
Yes, sure. Gen Z, obviously, as we've said, is an emerging demographic. They're continuing to gain influence, and they're likely to strengthen that middle market in the art sector. Of course, they're interested in investments with lower tax implications and reduced volatility.
That's really attractive. So, what are the current trends in the auction market, and how can they help predict future market opportunities? That is actually a really practical question, I think.
The auction market has had three solid years, in fact, of above average volume for auction season. And I think as we continue to progress through the year, it's going to be really crucial to monitor those dynamics to be able to predict marketing trends and understanding where those opportunities lie.
Okay, and this will be the last question. What recent trend in the art market have shown promise in terms of demand and investment?
I think the promising turn in the market has been collectors, museums really looking for more diverse artists, particularly in the digital space, and I'm expecting that that will continue.
Thank you so much, also, Elizabeth.
So that takes us on nicely into just a conversation really about what we're all here to discuss, which is coexistence, and the role of digital art in shaping our cultural landscape and driving innovation. So I'm going to just talk to you a little bit about that. The arts have always played a pivotal role in shaping our cultural landscape. They've acted as a mirror to society, really reflecting its values, its challenges, and acting as a powerful medium of cultural expression. Consider the Renaissance and artists like Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo. Not only did they create masterpieces, but they embodied the spirit of humanism and exploration of their time. And really, their work continues to inform our understanding of beauty, creativity, and human potential even today. Digital artists are now doing exactly the same and capturing the essence of our times. They're driving innovation, they're influencing societal norms and changing frameworks, they're creating sustainable solutions to the problems of consumption globally, and reshaping traditional methods of commerce. So as we venture into the digital age, and something that you've all been discussing over the last couple of days, commerce is rapidly evolving in response to those broadening of creative boundaries. Investing in digital art has created a new global economy, just as the combustible engine did in the Industrial Revolution, and the emergence of digital banking did in the late 90s disrupt commerce. So what is the societal impact of digital art? Very much like the headlines of the 1980s, our own current era resonates with economic and political instability, climate change, and shifting market dynamics. But digital art represents one of the most important developments in contemporary art, and all sectors are using it to inform customer purchasing habits. So just some key points, really, about the value of digital art. It's democratized the way we think about creativity. It really transcends class and geographical divides and transforms how consumers think and engage and value art. For instance, those that might not step into a physical fine art gallery, but who consume over other channels that Greeda's going to talk to you about, the metaverse and Web3, obviously. It's also created new forms of creative expression, which have offered new dimensions of engagement, and it's transformed the art market with new revenue streams. Blockchain has also legitimized digital art as a collectible asset, and it's providing artists with ways to monetize their work directly without the need for a gallery, and of course, creative secondary sales. Another interesting touch point is the intersection between digital art and technology, presenting a really fertile ground for innovation in education. And it's really helping educators to push the boundaries of learning and really enriching the educational journey for students where digital fluency is now paramount. So in summary, digital art is a new frontier for humanity, society, and economies at a universal level. And in fact, music is the only other medium that does that. It transcends cross-cultural divides and language, and that is digital art's true value. I'll just touch very briefly on what the future trends are for digital art, and similarly to what Bianca has seen. I think the first is a greater institutional involvement with digital art. We've seen with Christie's purchase of Mike Winkelmann's Beeple's Every Day, and indeed also with Paris Photo. There'll be a continued growth of online sales, providing a gateway for more diverse range of buyers and encouraging a broader participation in the art market. Art collections in the digital age and the new digital platforms are enabling new and emerging collectors to enter the market, transforming business practices and fostering greater security and transparency, and I expect this will continue to grow. Blockchain has obviously had a big impact on the art market, and we will expect this to continue and to be more pronounced as we move into 2025 and beyond. And NFTs, of course, have entered the mainstream art world, and we've seen assimilation into major collections, such as the Centre Pompidou and Los Angeles County Museum of Art, making substantial acquisitions. So as this continues to become more integral in the art market, we can expect digital art to coexist with traditional fine art. Of course, I've spent 20 years in the luxury industry working with various luxury brands, and digital art has certainly found a home there in luxury commerce, transforming engagement, particularly for some of the more conservative brands. Of course, exclusivity and scarcity, particularly with NFTs and that offering of limited edition digital pieces, aligns perfectly with the scarcity model that drives much of the luxury market. And then, of course, there's customization and personalization, which has really fused art and commerce and strengthened those emotional collections. Storytelling and heritage has exploded with digital art and has really given new opportunities for brands to convey their history. And innovation and modernity, all of this technology has aligned luxury brands, positioning them as more appealing for a Gen Z audience. Of course, sustainability is the hot potato that we all talk about, and digital art has eliminated the need for physical materials, helping brands with their environmental strategies and carbon footprint. And lastly, immersive experiences, which again, Greta will talk to you a bit more about, have allowed luxury brands, importantly, to bridge the gap between their physical retail footprint and their digital worlds, which of course was crucially important in the pandemic. Digital art really is a tool for innovation, offering new forms of artistic expression while reinforcing the prestige and exclusivity that of course underpins the sector. So just touch here on a key stat that I found quite interesting from Shopify. The e-commerce fashion industry is projected to reach a valuation of $1 trillion by 2024, and overall has seen an increase of 14.2% compound annual growth between 2017 and 2025, really fueled by the rising middle class globally. So just to conclude then, it really is the runway to the future, as I'm sure you all know, and from the Middle Ages and the Renaissance to the digital era, the trajectory of art, as we've said, reflects those fundamental society shifts. Obviously, it's gained momentum with NFTs during the pandemic. Alongside all the political and economic turbulence, we saw the advent of Web3 and the rise of AI to mass adoption. It continues with digital art to disrupt and shift our art ecosystem, democratizing art and creativity and leading to a global transformation. I just want to say really that art no longer serves just the religious or royal propaganda of past eras, but now is very much forward-looking. It has more democratic value, and it's changing ideas, as Jason said, of emotional, symbolic, and financial value. We should adopt these innovations now, because it's those that meaningfully engage with these new technologies and digital art that will thrive in an increasingly crowded commercial landscape. So on that note, I'm going to hand back to Jason. Thank you.